I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams. It must be very difficult. The voices in your head. There's chaos in you. Embrace it. Stephen.
What are you? Are you like living inside of me?
It's a little more complicated than that.
Mark, you look different.
We protect the vulnerable and deliver justice.
This is the best, worst day of my life.
Marvel Studios' Moon Knight, only on Disney+.
Stephen.
There he is. Hello, man in the mirror.
I know you're scared.
A bit, yeah.
I know you're confused. You weren't supposed to see any of this.
What are you?
Sure you want to know?
Mark, you look different.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Am I like some sort of secret agent?
It's a little more complicated than that. We protect the vulnerable and deliver justice.
This is the best, worst day of my life.
Marvel Studios' Moon Knight, only on Disney+.
Some in the suit.
Some in the suit? What are you saying?
The suit.
The suit?
And keep this safe.
So be it.
Let's go, let's go.
That was awesome.
Pit in Hatter to Act Hebra.
When you look past the surface, what do you see? Complicated man, battling an inner conflict, struggling for balance.
Am I like some sort of secret agent?
It's a little more complicated than that.
Force of strength. Wondering what the hell is happening around her. Steven!
A mysterious figure, worshipped, exalted, and you don't want to come face to face with his unworldly power.
Marvel's Moon Knight is coming to Disney+. Trust me, he's the one you'll see coming.
So do we just hang out in here now until the show comes out?
Relax, all right? They're serious about the no spoilers thing. Turns out.
I don't know. I think we do have a lot to say about our show. Like, for instance, the fact that it's that's that's
You
Mr.
can't say
Knight.
any of that.
Yeah, but you can say that there's And
No.
at the end,
Hello, this is literally why we're never gonna get out of here.
you guys getting any reception? Wi-Fi, 5G? This isn't it?
Oh, a little off the wind.
No good.
I didn't factor
No
the wind.
good.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I think I'm losing it.
Real catch you are. You're bloody useless, Stevie.
Steven.
I can't tell the difference between life and dreams.
Thank you.
Lost the contact lens.
Hope you find it.
Thanks.
Now hold the phone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're alive. What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark?
It must be very difficult. The voice in your head. Shut up! There's chaos in you. Embrace the chaos.
It was all good. Just
that.
okay. Now there's no. Sorry.
All right. And welcome back to another episode of the Aftershows that Keeg did. I'm trying to restate what I just said before the mic was off, and I turned it on, and now it's on. This is the Moon Knight Aftershow, Episode 1. It's the show brought to you by The Keeg, where we talk about the show after the show with the Aftershow. I'm your host, Dimitri Pereira. The last time we did a Marvel Aftershow was for the Hawkeye Aftershow, and it seems like a million years ago. Paul Lau is my host for all the Marvel Aftershows. Paul, welcome back, buddy. You're looking good.
Oh, hi. Thanks. You look great too. It's been a while.
I got a haircut. You got a haircut? All right. I got a haircut.
I did. Yeah, it's a fade.
It is.
Yeah, it's a zero.
Shiny.
That's not a zero. Is that a zero?
It's a zero. I just grow really fast.
You grow. You're a growing boy, Paul Lau.
Yep, that's right.
Boy.
Lots of milk.
He grows real fast, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, thank you so much for being my host yet again. Is this the first 2022 Marvel show?
I think so. I had to think what year it was for a second. I'm like, I don't know.
When did Hawkeye come out?
Yeah, I think
that was December.
Yeah.
Oh, Christmas time. Yeah, that's right.
That's so weird. Who is that voice? Well, if you're watching the live stream, and you can see the live stream on Volume, on Twitch, on YouTube, all of which are at The Keeg Show on each respective platform, you can see exactly who it is. But if you're listening to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, I would say she needs no introduction because she's been here before many times, but she does need an introduction. It's Vagabondage. Vaga, how you doing?
I'm back. I miss you guys. Marvel shows need to come more often so I can just see you guys on the regular basis.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's always great to have you. I think you may have been in all, maybe except one Marvel show, Marvel After Show.
Yeah. I can't remember which one now, but I know that there was one that I missed. But
it was
yes.
Falcon Winter Soldier. Was that
That's
what it was?
it.
Yeah. But you've been in all the other ones. And you obviously get invited back because you're great at what you do. So thank you.
Obsessive compulsive. Yeah, I understand what you mean.
We can use you. Right. Tap into you're just giving it away for free.
I want to shout out right now. Shout out a couple people out in the chat. We got Matthew A. Maury, who was the original person to say sound's not coming out, and it's true. It's because this is whatever. No excuses. Sound wasn't coming out. Now it's coming out. Thank you, Matt, for letting us know. And we also got Johnny Chu out there. Johnny. He says, "What's good?" We're gonna take this episode to figure out
Moon Knight's good.
What's good? You know, is it early enough? Is it early enough to say Moon Knight is good?
I'm definitely not disappointed.
I'm not disappointed either.
No.
Yeah.
Paul?
Big budget, shot really bright. It's not broody like some other comic book shows. It knows what it is, and wow. Yeah, we should just get into it.
Let's get into it. Question. Well, Marvelous Johnny says, I have many questions in the best ways. Yes.
Marvelous Johnny!
Yes. Well, that's Johnny Chu. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't intro.
Sorry, I didn't know his last name. I only know everybody by their usernames.
That's true. That's true. Who? Anyone here have experience with Moon Knight before this show?
I did a deep dive of all the comics in the last couple of months.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Up to about 2018. So I'm not up to date on the most relevant, but everything that I felt was relevant to this series, I am in on. So I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm part of the meme group where it's he's always at meme.
Oh.
The Moon Knight memes where he's always asking Dracula where the fuck his money is. The big nerd.
Yeah.
And I love those. But I thought Mark Spector was an actor and a billionaire who can afford moon copters and moonerangs and moon devices.
You thought it was just Batman?
He was.
Yeah, he was
Batman. In fact, the creator of Moon Knight now writes for Batman, or has written now for Batman. He left Marvel to write for DC specifically for Batman.
Did they specifically make Moon Knight different than Batman now? Like
that would sound accurate.
Okay. Because I know Moon Knight from a couple different comics. Most recent run of Moon Knight is what I've been reading. And it's good. It's fine. That's the first Moon Knight run. But before that, I read the Avengers run where Khonshu, the god, that beaked god, essentially tells Moon Knight to beat up the Avengers and steal their powers and stuff.
Right. And Spider-Man, Wolverine are in there.
Yeah.
And Cap.
Johnny says moi. He says he's read Moon Knight. Stephen Grant is a millionaire. Mark Spector was the mercenary, and Jake Lockley is a taxi driver.
Thank you.
So I was confused. Well, when I saw the preview and they were like, "Oh, my name's Steven," I was like, "All right, well, they made Steven the kind of like everyday average guy." That was more of the Jake Lockley of the Moon Knight characters, but I don't know how many they're going to go with. It's possible that they've just decided that having 2 M names was better, and I don't know. We'll see if we even get a Jake. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I've never really been a big fan of Moon Knight. And right now I'm reading the comics right now, and like I like the current run, but only because I'm kind of forcing myself to be a completionist. I like it, but you know,
I was really impressed with the run I read.
Oh, you probably read the run before this. I mean, this run's really good, but like I heard the last run was really was better. Or
which one was it?
If somebody can look it up, I'm sure Johnny out there also.
I literally just took a screen capture of it before this, and now I can't even remember it. My favorite is the
Jeff Lemire's run. I heard.
Yeah, that's the one. That's definitely the one if you're going to read anything that you should read before this show.
Right.
I feel like it ties in really well. It turns our millionaire Mark Spector into, or pardon me, Stephen Grant into more of a film producer, exec, kind of like, this is how I made my money, a little more joie de vivre. And I appreciate it. It went away from the Bruce Wayne kind of perspective that we had in the comics, which was really popular early on.
I mean, that's good, because I'm not a big fan of like just taking the Bruce Wayne kind of thing. But Max Bemis was the last writer, but he was fine. Who's the current writer that I'm reading right now? Oh, Jed McKay. But that's volume 9. I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and basically Moon Knight's had a smattering of starts and like restarts. He's had 9 volumes, not including some other different name series that don't count as volumes. So all in all, it looks like he's had 12 different runs. Some as small as 4 issues, might have been miniseries, but some as large as 60.
Well, he had a sort of an interesting and slow kind of staggered start. He started out being introduced through Werewolf by Night. He was supposed to be the antagonist to a werewolf character. And so that's why he was doused in silver. He used to have like knuckles, silver knuckles that he would punch werewolves with. But that only lasted really for the very brief amount of time that he was the antagonist to Werewolf by Night. And then he switched over. He got his own like mini 4-issue run where the creator wrote that, and they gave him more of a start where his costume had been provided by this group. I think they were called the Committee, and the Committee had given him this outfit and set him out to go find the werewolf because they wanted him. Or I might be bleeding things together now. Well, anyway, they rewrote all that by volume 4. I think they went back and they're like, oh no, this was all part of the plan. Frenchie was in on it at the beginning, and they kind of they retconned it to make it make more sense.
On the flip phone, Deschamps. Yeah.
I'm glad. Oh, was that a call? Was that a Easter egg?
Frenchie Deschamps. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was Layla.
Yeah.
I was happy by that.
I was just never been sold on Moon Knight, except I get excited when MCU stuff comes out, because that's going to be the iconic the iconic take is like MCU, like it ends up being the MCU, because then
it'll be what is seen by the masses,
right?
And once the masses have taken a hold of it, it is its own entity. Right. And I'm happy to see Oscar Isaac. Obviously, I think that was a huge selling point for a lot of people who wouldn't otherwise not be interested in the series about this character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Oscar Isaac is amazing, and Miss Marauder is also amazing. She's in the chat.
Hello.
She says sorry she's late. She was rewatching the last 45 seconds of the episode for 10 minutes straight. The last so just the werewolf punching, the Anubis jackal punching,
dragging it back into the bathroom.
Yeah, which actually looked kind of sad. We're skipping to the end, but it's kind of sad when anyone's like getting dragged and having to like, oh no, I'm clawing away. I feel sad. I feel sorry.
But that's what I loved about God of War, when Kratos would have these like horrible mythical beasts that are snarling, and then they would like limp And it's just pathetic.
Yeah. Let's talk about this show. I mean, it starts off with this weird Memento kind of thing. What's the plot of Memento again?
Guy lost his memory and he had to figure out where he was, but it didn't start there. It started with Ethan Hawke doing a crazy culty ritual of breaking glass, drinking water, breaking the glass, and then
putting his shoes
putting
on.
that in his sandals.
He's weird. But also I love Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, I don't know if I've told you guys, Ethan Hawke was my #1 pick for Doctor Strange. And I still, to this day, if you wanted a darker kind of take on Doctor Strange, a darker, grittier, less funny, I guess, Ethan Hawke was my pick.
He's like an ultra serious actor. Like every time he's in anything, like you can't, like he couldn't be in Garfield.
As Garfield or as John Arbuckle?
As John Arbuckle.
As Odie.
Even as Odie.
There's some universe out there where he voiced Odie.
Okay. I can't even imagine him barking like Odie. or like getting kicked off the table with the same,
Yeah, he's super serious. He is super serious.
Yeah.
I think honestly, the only thing I've seen him in is the Dead Poet Society. So that's the only, and that was when he was like 17 years old. So.
Sure.
That's young.
Iron Will.
Miss Marauder says gritty Garfield reboot. I feel like the only way Ethan Hawke they do the same thing that they kind of did to Bill Murray, but they're like, okay, we want you to do a Garfield movie. And he's like, yes, of course, that's Chester A. Arthur. Garfield, the American president, Garfield, I'm in. They're like, don't you want to look at the contract? No, I'm Ethan Hawke. I'm playing this president.
President Andrew Garfield.
Garfield? Yes.
I don't know how that happened.
Wait, no, Andrew Garfield.
I'm going to live in that universe. That's the universe I want to be in. Thank you.
Who am I thinking
Give him a second chance.
This is the life of Bobo.
James A. Garfield. Yes, sign me up. I'm in it for the Garfield movie. He comes to set. They're like, okay, you're playing an orange cat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the world I want to live in.
All right.
Any president plus Andrew equals British actor. Andrew Lincoln. Andrew. That's it. That's all I got.
Andrew Lincoln is a British actor.
Mm-hmm. For Evil Dead, Walking Dead.
For Walking Dead. Anyway, so Ethan Hawke is a really good actor, and I'm very, very excited to see what he does with this. Then we got that culty stuff. Then we get kind of this life of Stephen Knight, right? Stephen Grant. Mark
Spector.
Moon
Knight. Marvel Knights.
Yeah. Mr. Knight.
Baywatch Knights.
You'll get them all eventually.
Right.
Wayne Knight from Jurassic Park.
Special detail. He had so he was locked to the bedpost, and then around his bed there was just sand everywhere, and he wasn't really sure what that was about, but he seemed to just scoff it off at all the weird things in his life and continued on with his day.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gus the goldfish, he said hi. It was like his best friend, Gus.
Yeah. And
bringing attention to the fin.
Right. Like Nemo. And then he tapes the door. Right?
He untapes the door. That's like his little seal to know whether or not he's left.
Right.
So because the tape is still there, he knows that he hasn't left, or he thinks that he hasn't left.
Yeah. Matt's right. He thinks the sand was so if he knew he was getting out, like he got out of bed. Because he's thinking he's sleepwalking. And when you restrain yourself, you don't unlock yourself when you're sleepwalking. Or you do, right? That's the whole point. He just thinks he's he's having trouble sleeping because he's sleepwalking.
Right.
If you have to pee bad enough, you'll figure it out.
No, you end up peeing your bed.
Dimitri, that's quitter talk.
But what he doesn't realize is if it's an alternate personality, that guy's just gonna undo the buckles and then later get back into bed with them, put the buckles back on.
It's a really good point, Matt. Goldfish usually represents bad memory.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, love it.
Because Vaga did a or she talked. Didn't you say something about like what is the goldfish? Like what's the purpose of the goldfish?
Nope.
No,
but it sounds great.
In your live, you.
Oh yes, in my live I did.
Yeah.
We were talking about the goldfish there.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a great point. I didn't think that it was going to have any like greater alternate meaning, but theme wise or the symbolism there. I didn't think it was going to be like alligator Loki, like a variant or anything. Yeah. But it's nice to see that poor Gus, the goldfish.
Ahmet, or is that his name?
Ahmet, yeah.
Ahmet is going to be alligator Loki all along.
Right.
Who had just visited from eons ago. Or not eons, but thousands of years ago.
Yeah. I like the fact that they're getting into the Egyptian mythology, which Egyptian mythology isn't it's not a big part of our pop culture in America.
Not anymore.
Now because it was so overdone in early Hollywood and then even in our younger years. Oh yeah, The Mummy. Do you not remember the entire 3 decades that was just dedicated to ancient Egyptian mythology and then doing it poorly, doing it really an injustice?
Okay, wait, I know The Mummy. We're talking the old Universal Mummy, right? The old Mummy with Boris
But then
Karloff?
before that, early Hollywood had Cleopatra. Those stories were kind of overdone to a point that Hollywood didn't want to touch them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Point being, I feel like Greek mythology is like the big mythology, right?
At the moment, yeah.
I think
most
Viking is really not just Thor, just like in general, like his History Channel, the Danes. I mean, they're not Vikings
about
but
now, right? But 20 years ago, people couldn't name Odin for shit.
Yeah.
The general public, but now now people know Thor, right?
No, but as in regards in comparison to Egyptian stuff, I'm sure you could name 3 gods, right? Because you already named Anubis, and we're talking about
Osiris, Ra.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm just
4 or 5. That's pretty good.
That was from Mummies Alive. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember Mummies Alive. But it's cool to see Egyptian mythology kind of get a push. Also, rumor has it that the Greek mythological pantheon will be in Thor: Love and Thunder. And so, because Russell Crowe's going to play Zeus. So as far as we know,
the Snyder Cut had a couple of Greek gods in theirs.
What?
Zeus in the flashback with Darkseid.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, also Wonder Woman deals with the Greek pantheon anyway, right?
We have to remember that both Marvel and DC, all of these are comic writers who are looking for inspiration outside, and what was popular in stories at that time was mythology as well. So those were the stories that they grew up on. These are that's the whole point of mythology, is that they were stories that have been told for eons at this point for human evolution. So we're going to talk about them again.
Yeah. Johnny brings up Norse mythology's been making an impact lately because of Marvel and God of War, that type of stuff. Matt says he only knew Anubis because he's a character in King of Tokyo. I knew Anubis mostly from the Mummy movies. And
there's a lot of video games reference Anubis.
Yeah.
We should remember, though, that Egyptian gods predate the Greek gods. They predate the Viking gods. They've been around for millennia.
You're right. They're all just
3000 BC, 4000 BC.
Yeah, I think it was 31 BC was what's considered the beginning of the Old Kingdom.
Right. Art history, baby. No.
Just did some deep dives. I wanted to figure out what all the little script was in his crescent when that first poster came out, and I was trying to learn
the hieroglyphics.
Ancient Egyptian.
Oh my gosh.
I've decided that it was not actually ancient Egyptian. It was like a Marvel version, or possibly a an Eternals script, something like that. So I guess we'll find out.
There's a lot of symbolism in this show, even to the point where there's that half face bust, and Mark's behind it, and then he turns, and it's just for a split second, it's half, and then that's it. And there's a lot of things about reflection. There's the leaf that goes on the puddle, and then we're seeing a reflection. There's a bunch of different things, and I'm digging this sort of the vibe that this first episode set up. Do you guys feel like this episode quote unquote solved that problem quick?
I didn't see it as a problem before, I guess. The only problem I see in this show is Donna. I really want her dead.
Donna's the boss, right?
Donna the boss. She can fall down a flight of stairs.
She can go kick rocks.
When they're having that little right, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the character, not the actor, obviously.
No,
She's
of
doing
course.
a fantastic job of making me hate her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that he confides in the golden statue, man, or the living statue.
Yeah, I wanted to look up who that statue is. I have no
Yeah,
idea if it's
me neither.
But it's like a guy, right? It's a real guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good.
I thought he was a statue at first until he was like, tip him. And then they tipped him.
Yeah.
But I expected him to turn to him or something. Because that's actually one of my biggest fears. Kind of like how Miss Marauder says she's afraid of mirrors. So let me tell you, she was having a difficult time.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I'm afraid that one day my reflection will do something different than me.
That's why I'm always looking at my reflection. What are you up to?
Well, every so often I stop and I look at the reflection and I go, I know who you are.
Uh-huh.
I know. Quit watching me. And so, we all have our things, but reflections being one of them. Shadows are a big thing in this show. They utilize shadow a lot.
It's great direction. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play with that a bit more without getting it too gritty, or if they're going to have different perspectives. I mean, obviously, this entire episode was through Mark Spector's, Stephen Grant's POV. So are we going to see another episode from Mark's perspective, or is it all just going to be through Stephen's eyes?
Right.
What about those moon powers?
Which moon powers?
He can become translucent depending on the phase of the moon. It was a Spider-Man episode, but he has he can lift Mjolnir because Uru is made from a moon.
Yeah.
It's mined from a moon.
It's moon rock. Yeah.
Moon rocks. So like all things lunar based, he can tap into somehow.
Someone was really an advocate for this guy to be the coolest dude in the Marvel universe. And it's just like, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sir, these moon facts are really great, but this is a Wendy's. So
keep in mind though that was when Khonshu was boosting his power. Like he got a power boost for that arc. Moon Knight on his own can't control Mjolnir. I don't think so.
Personally, I'm holding out for the physics-defying crescent copter.
Yeah.
I want to see the giant moon-shaped helicopter fly by.
I'm pretty sure they're not going that route, but who knows?
I'm still holding out for Hawkeye's
hover
sky
bike.
cycle.
Yeah,
so
sky
he
cycle.
never got that.
Miss Marauder says she found the talking to the statue scene to be profoundly sad. Same with all the mom voicemails in the restaurant scene.
I cried
Steven doesn't
when he was
exist,
getting
right?
steak. Yeah, when he was just sitting there in the restaurant and he realized that he was going to have to eat steak and that he completely fucked up and missed days, weeks, and his acting is so on point.
Yeah,
he's having a breakdown. It's like paranoid schizophrenia, right? Like. Obviously, it's real, so it's not that.
Well, it's dissociative identity disorder, but from his perspective, it's dissociative. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be any paranoia about it. Imagine that you just woke up and you realize that you have had half of your life missing. Like every time that you went to sleep or you thought you went to sleep, you were actually living another life. That is the crises that this person is going through, and each individual, every alter within this body is its own person. They're essentially like staggered or like compartmentalized memories where people are only subjected to what they see in front of them, and those memories kind of get filtered into different boxes, and so each individual grows as their own person. They're all just happen to share a body, which sucks.
Yeah, there's no collaboration.
Yeah.
It's not like Crazy Jane, where she can go into the station and talk to all her 60 personas.
Crazy Jane from Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
or Legion, yeah.
I mean, Legion, though, he's powerful and he's got the, I'm going by the show, but he's got a lot of issues. I mean, he killed Aubrey Plaza, so.
Great, now I know. Okay.
In real life.
Although I'm trying to decide, I don't know very much about people who do have dissociative identity disorder. I am curious how much or how often we see like somebody's hand being controlled by one alter and the rest of their body being controlled by another. I don't know if that's just something we see in Hollywood, like we did in Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey back in the day. or if that's something that they just use on screen to like add a little drama, or if that's something that we would actually see with somebody who has DID. I just don't know.
Right.
That when he's like, well, you seem to have a lot of fun with Captain Rubber Slippy Fist, and then she was like, that was for you. Oh, alrighty.
Right.
With Moon Knight, they seem to be taking a more adult approach. Are we a fan of what was going on here? It wasn't quite to Netflix's level, but like it was way more violent than, I guess, a comparable show would be Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
The blood.
The first Marvel project that we've seen ended with that tag, a Kevin Feige production. Is that something that we normally see, or was it just the font that jumped out at me today?
Did it say that? A Kevin Feige production?
Yeah, it was the last thing you saw before it went Moon Knight.
Then it would be the first time I'm hearing about it.
But the bodies, like when he struggles and then the aftermath, and there are people actually getting crushed as opposed to an explosion covering up people, or
right.
Well,
when he first, like, the 5 people come at him and then he blacks out when he's in the town and he wakes up and all their heads are bashed against the ground, I'm assuming.
Yeah, in a pool of blood. Also, I noticed that like because they're like pedestrian, there's like one lady, like a 20-something.
Yeah.
I was like,
I meant to go back and see the lady who flips him off. Is that the same lady in the elevator?
No.
Can't.
Was it?
Different head shape.
Well, that's why I was wondering if it was one of those mindfuckery situations. It's like, why was this old lady who's driving a truck and flipping him off in wherever they are? Because we're not sure at that point. That's kind of what they add to the discombobulation. They don't tell you specifically. He's just in some sort of European country.
Right.
And then, but then we see another very similarly colored old lady in the elevator, and I was just wondering if
I think it's just a white old lady. Like,
well, that's the other problem. How many old people look the same to me because I'm an ageist? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if like she dressed the way Khonshu looked, to maybe where it was kind of like,
I don't think so.
No, I was really looking at her face, I guess, for some reason.
I think that scene is more indicative of the paranoid schizophrenia with that, as opposed to disassociation. I'm not a doctor, but I feel like that
paranoid schizophrenia is actually an outdated term. It's not something that is often used anymore. Yeah.
What's the current terminology?
DID. Yeah. DID.
Oh, is that the same thing?
Paranoia is something different. Yeah. Schizophrenia is kind of like an outdated term. I didn't even know it was
the same thing. I thought it was something. The split personality is okay. All right.
Why don't you just call conjoined twins Siamese twins, and
why would I do? No.
Let's just keep this whole like outdated.
I didn't know.
Now you know.
It's all good.
So then, moving on though, I have a question. Yeah. Again, just tagging on to my possible ageism. The old guy. So when Mark is landed in this European country and he looks up and there's an old dude waving at him, is that F. Murray Abraham, the guy who plays the voice of Khonshu?
Who's waving at him?
There's just an old dude, and then the old dude.
Remember, he goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what
moment, but
I don't know what he looks
like. A lot like F. Murray Abraham, and that's the voice of Khonshu. So I'm gonna look into it.
That is a might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
It might just be another old dude though.
Yeah. Looks like Superbeard's out there. What's up to Superbeard? Haven't seen you in a while. What's up to Superbeard out there? Yeah. So and then he's waking up. I love this, just seeing him black out and wake up with like something different. And you're like, us as viewers, we're watching it. We're putting together the pieces and trying to be like, okay, now he has a gun, and then the guy's dead in the back, and he rolls out.
Yeah.
He rolls out the back.
Yeah.
And then he gets maybe crushed. I don't know. Maybe the cars go around him. But like, there's.
I think he was dead before he rolled out. So.
Right, he was. But like, it's still pretty intense for a Disney Plus Marvel show, right?
Right. Also, the cinematography. It's Switzerland, right? Like, I don't know. Everything was so clear and
Belgium,
hilly.
But I'm also pulling that out of my ass.
Was it Belgium? I was trying to, because they panned up. You see, kind of like the
Alps.
Yeah,
that's why I thought Swiss.
The castle. At the first thought, obviously, I was thinking it was.
Yeah, Latveria.
Yeah, well, not even either Latveria, because there is like the Von Doomblurg something. That's what the cupcake was called? The cupcake band was Von Doom something. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm not joking. I saw that in the preview months ago.
All right. Well, I gotta pan my
Von Doom cupcakes.
My nips are hard. Stop.
Von Doom Blurgen, like the
That's
doom
awesome.
bleeds into the word. Yeah.
I'm gonna look up Von Doom cupcakes.
It's not called Von Doom cupcakes. It's Von Dubligern.
Von Dubligern.
You see it right on the front of the van. It's on the boxes right behind him. Too.
Yeah, you're right. There's
a
lot of YouTube stuff saying that Dr. Doom Easter egg.
Yeah. Yeah, when the preview jumped months ago, that was the first thing I saw, and I was like, "You son of a bitch! Stop teasing me." No, I thought it was
It's so
Wanda
weird.
is from. Where is Wanda from?
The Wundagore Mountains.
Sokovia.
I know that's where she's from. Sokovia, thank you. I thought it was Sokovia where
the MCU. Okay, yeah.
So I just wondered if they filmed in a similar location, if they filmed in the same place, or if it actually was intended to be Sokovia, that big castle from Civil War. But I don't think it is. They would have made more of a impact if it was.
Were there other Easter eggs? I kept being like, oh, he's gonna read the newspaper. Like when he was looking over the newspaper over the girl's shoulder, I was like, is he gonna see something like weird?
I went back to the bus ad when he was kind of looking down the street and he realized this Mrs. Bus. I was like, oh, is that advertising something? Nope, it wasn't. No. It was just saying you would like to travel here. Also, but I mean, then he traveled, so I guess it was foreshadowing it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Does Kit Harington work at a museum in Eternals?
He does. It's a different museum, though.
Oh, man, how many museums does London need? Come on.
Many. They have all the museums.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly what English history is going out to other countries, stealing all their stuff, and then bringing it back to show it off.
It belongs in a museum.
Yeah. Also,
really?
There's a Angkor Wat exhibit over here. So if you want to see my culture's artifacts stolen,
sorry, what is
come
it?
on, Angkor Wat.
How's it
actually ANGKOR WAT. Also, Ethan Hawke references Pol Pot, amongst others, in a very strange League of Shadows, preventing evil from happening.
I noted what I also noticed is that rarely does mainstream media bring up Pol Pot as a like a Holocaust, right? Essentially. And rarely do they bring up, even less so, the Armenian genocide.
Yeah.
But he brought up both.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's definitely a step forward to the visibility of what has happened.
Right.
And it adds power tying them in with the Adolf Hitler of the world. Because anybody who doesn't know now is like, oh, I should probably know that.
Right, because it should be lumped in. I mean, you know, like it's rarely talked about, which is, I'm not cheering the thing. I'm cheering the visibility of it.
Sure. Yeah. Representation matters.
Right.
And not all genocides are about purity. Some of them are just trying to make Cambodia great again. So essentially, sadly, anti-intellectual movement.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
On the point of Arthur Harrow, though, and his Amit worship and the scales, I found it curious when we saw him sort of wither that old lady after her just being what do you call
judged, right?
Judged, I guess. And
scales.
They said that she had been good her entire life. Maybe she was lying, maybe she lies to herself, and that's part of her flaw. But he said that it could be something that she has yet to do, but then he takes her out of that possibility.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was curious to me. I'm wondering how much we're going to get in the time aspect of reality with this show. Is it
going to be a time thing, or is it more of a Minority Report kind of thing? In the sense that, like, it's not a time travel per se, but it's if you're going to do something bad in the future, then I guess you're technically saying there's no free will. You're going to do something bad in the future, you get taken out of the equation now, and it makes the world a better place.
Well, that's what I mean more by time. When other people talk about time and when I talk about time seem to be two different things. I mean, in the absolute reality, as has already been pre-established in the Marvel universe, we had Kang be like, oh yeah, this already is going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. In fact, the entire series of Loki, I am still convinced, was always intended to be that way, no matter how many other people will argue otherwise, is that it's just another set of occurrences that need to take place in order for the past to occur, because it's all set out. It's one mash of existence, and there is no changing it. So it's just whether or not she will reach that point in time, or if it's another reality altogether. So that's the question.
Super Beard is saying the cupcakes are Von Darlison.
Darlison.
And
all
it's
right.
an Easter egg that YouTubers jumped on when the trailer came out.
Yeah.
Von Doom cupcakes, though. If anyone wants to start a cupcake store with me, we'll go 75-25. Okay.
Gray frosting or metallic frosting.
It's like a silver frosting.
Yeah. Iron.
Another curious. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Another curious thing that we're going to go into. I wonder if we will. Is that you mentioned that in the Iliad has 9. They only had 7 on the poster. Are we going to be seeing all 9 of that Iliad at some point?
Who knows? I'm going to look it up. I had never even heard the word Iliad before.
I think in the Marvel comics they call them it's a different word. It's like the Herologians, something like that. They give them a different title, but they are also the Iliad in the comics.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
We have Atum, the sun god, Shu and Tefnut, Geb and Nut, that's 5, and their children, and then their 4 children. So Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys.
Yeah.
How many Eternals are there?
Anubis isn't even part of the Ennead.
There's 10 in the movie, and there's like 150 in the comics.
Right.
Of the Eternals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping there was just like another 9 thing, but okay.
No.
So it's just the Rings of Power. Or no, the 9 Lord of the Rings. That's what I'm getting. Okay.
No, but in Marvel Comics, Bast was one of their Herologians, I think is what they called them, and that was kind of what they had dubbed the Iliad. So it'd be interesting to see if Bast ends up becoming part of that, or I don't know how close to Egypt, ancient Egypt, they're going to stick. Plus, there's also different portions, like different time frames within ancient Egyptian mythology, which each god kind of had more or less power depending on how their cult was doing within their society. And that's what I think we'll see a little bit more of today, is obviously the cult of Ammut is doing quite well in whatever world we have to be watching.
Khonshu, is he a real Egyptian god?
Yeah, he was a moon god. He was like the sorry, I'm getting them confused. There was like a combination of, never mind. I take it all back. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's a moon god.
Also, side note, if you pull down your pants and you show your butt cheeks to Moon Knight, does he become more powerful?
Depends on how light your reflection
Only
is.
white butts?
No, I just said how light. Probably. Bast with a T, by the way.
Yeah. Did I?
Yes.
No, it's just the sound on here. Bast.
My apologies. Thank you.
I did no. Again, not your fault. It's like you said it right.
Are you making fun of my list, Paul? No, I'm joking.
Miss Marauder says, "I'll volunteer to find out." That's
with Oscar Isaac.
With Oscar Isaac. We'll see. Do you guys like his costume, by the way? Let's talk about this costume.
I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Haven't seen enough, but it's fine. It's great.
You could see it in all this promotional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of bulky-ish.
They gave it that mummy-esque look. I liked the wrapping. I like how it encapsulates him when it comes on, and I think that's a really great feature for a character that's kind of this mythological. How were they going to get him to change his costume? He's not doing the Superman into a phone booth switching out his outfit.
Right.
You're not going to like look down at your altar and be like, oh, what am I wearing? This is weird. They needed something that could come on and off in that magical sense, and that they did a really good job of that.
Yeah.
To also make sense without just like appearing on like Mystique changing her skin, you know?
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm just like, Transformers, the lazy version.
Yeah. The lazy version X-Men was Colossus. When he would change to Colossus, it was just a laser line that just crossed his body to turn him to metal.
Yeah.
That's how they did it in the video game.
I'm fine with his costume here, but I do like his other sweater vest mask costume. You know?
That's the Mr. Knight outfit, though. And from the promo material, it looks like we're going to be getting a Mr. Knight.
So I like that costume.
I hope he's riding in a limo and then he goes up a bunch of flights of stairs beating up random dudes to save a girl. I hope that happens.
What is that from?
It's from a comic. When I first saw Mr. Knight.
Oh. See, I need to go back and reread it. Because again, I'm reading.
It's like 2011? Was that the really good run? Sorry.
So
2016, I believe.
2016.
Johnny says do the
Lemire run?
The Jeff Lemire run, right?
Yeah, that's the must for sure. I would agree.
Okay.
Although on that note, so what's great about the Lemire run is it kind of goes over all of the history of Moon Knight in a sense, and it gives you a feel for who all the major players are in his backstory, including Frenchie. What's his girlfriend's name? Marlene? Is it Marlena? Something like that. I'm totally blanking on her name at the moment. Yeah. Whatever her name is, she's a blonde ditzy one. She's with Grant, and Stephen Grant. She's kind of attracted to his money. She's always seems to be delusional about who he is. It's like she thinks he's just this actor playing different parts all the time. It's like, no, he has a serious mental condition. Anyway, so I don't really like her character. I'm glad that she's been left out of this series and that this new character, Layla, seems to be brought in. And I'm looking forward to seeing if Layla is going to tie into anything else. If anyone remembers back in the WandaVision days, there was a Layla Miller who was speculated to be involved somehow. Layla Miller was created by Wanda in the comics as her butterfly, essentially. And so when the butterfly symbology
was she
showed
in
up
WandaVision? You mean House of
She
M?
wasn't. No. Sorry, speculation. In the WandaVision theories, the thing that started everything like
Wait,
this.
so you mean just everything?
Yeah.
Like all the speculations.
There's a girl named Layla, and I'm obsessed already. Okay.
Well, she plays. Have you guys ever seen Rami, the FX show on Hulu? Rami, with Rami, not Rami Malek, but Rami. Is it Rami Youssef, or is that a guy I went to high school with? Rami Youssef.
I don't know.
I went to a high school with a guy named Rami, so I was hoping I wasn't mixing up his name and thing. Rami Youssef. He has a show named Rami, and the girl who plays Layla plays his sister on the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's a weird show. For anyone who's seen it, you guys, somebody out there has seen it and knows what I'm talking about. There's a weird plot point that.
Save it for your Rami after show, okay, Dimitri? Nobody cares here. Nobody cares here.
We'll see. So, what do we have to look forward to with this series? Like, is Ethan Hawke going to get powers? Is there going to be a big out brawl? You think this is going to suffer from a Marvel Act 3 thing?
I really want to just know where in the timeline it is, honestly, and whether or not it will bleed in, because we don't know when this has happened, pre or post blip at the moment. We don't know if it's going to have any outstanding effects on the rest of the series, or if this character is going to start showing up. Are we going to see Kit Harington at some point, or Blade?
Yeah. You know what would have been?
It's a lot up in the air.
You know what would be crazy? By the way, Matt brings up flip phones, but the flip phone is a burner phone, so it's not. It's not.
You can't really tell. You know, it's at least not in the 80s.
I was gonna say, I think it would be super cool is if this is post blip, and people around Steven got blipped. Well, first thing, we don't know how long Steven's been an identity, right? But if Steven was an identity before the blip, if everybody blips and then he turns to Mark Spector and he doesn't get blipped, but he turns to Mark Spector and Mark Spector lives 5 years as Mark Spector, and when he comes back, he thinks he was blipped.
I like it.
He thinks he was
blipped. It's a good call
because he lost 5 years of life.
We do know that Steven was probably the main embodiment of this person, or the original, as he has the mom. He talks to his mom all the time on the phone. So is that actually his mom, or is that somebody else?
It's a voicemail. He doesn't actually talk to a mom.
Oh, that's a good point.
He just leaves a voicemail day after day. He leaves a voicemail, and it's like, you're not talking to anyone. I don't think
I
Steven,
didn't even notice that.
I don't know
Good
if
call.
Steven's a real person.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, he's a real person. He just shares a body with several other real people.
Right. Well,
right.
yeah.
And Khonshu is new for him.
For Steven.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, hearing the voice and seeing him everywhere, or he has like really bad amnesia to go along with lost time. But I don't think they would double whammy. They would probably streamline it as it's just weird that he doesn't, because if he's so used to doing all these rituals, not rituals, but precautions, why wouldn't he check the date? You know, it seems like he's super aloof to be like, oh my God, it's already 5. Because like,
I think there's a state of denial, right?
Denial or something has changed recently, obviously. Something has changed, obviously, which is making Khonshu come out more often. You're hilarious. I just got
I didn't mean for
dad
that.
joke.
I didn't mean for it.
That was the first joke I ever learned.
I didn't mean for it, but I was saying a state of denial. I did not mean the pun, but it happened. Sorry, Vaga, what were you saying?
I don't remember anymore.
Okay, we'll roll back the tapes.
Roll back.
You know.
But
if the tape is there, why would he check the date? Yeah, if he thinks he's sleepwalking. That's what I gather. Because if you think you have another identity, you wouldn't put the buckles and stuff, because the buckles will just be undone and then redone. He thinks he's sleepwalking. I feel like these are normal sleepwalking things. When I was a kid, I sleptwalked like a couple of times. You know, and then I ended up in Europe. It was weird.
He's not at the point of Mike Birbiglia yet, where he's like in a sleeping bag.
And then jumps out a window.
What is that? What happened to Mike Birbiglia?
Yeah,
there's a whole movie about
his
it.
Whole career is about.
Sleepwalk with Me is his movie.
Yeah. Oh, I've only seen Mike Birbiglia in the Improv movie.
What? Oh my God, you have to watch his stand-up. Thank God for Jokes is the best stand-up of all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you guys ever?
Ms. Marauder says precautions probably lull him into a false sense of security. If the tape is there, why would he check the date? Yeah, but there's a state of denial that there's anything other than sleepwalking, even though it's still weird. You know.
Well, then he's got.
Sorry.
Oh, go on.
It's like we were saying before, when you live in this perspective, and so all of your memories are kind of stored in one session, one human alter. Your lens of what the information is that you're taking in is also completely severed. So you only see what you want to see. It's like in Westworld, like, oh, it doesn't look like anything to me. So if your brain, it's not just denial, but it's a state of like information input is being cut off and blinded and filtered is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like your alter could have face blindness, whereas the other could be, you know, not photogenic, but they could draw. Yeah, because I have to do that with like my friends. Will be like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to point out all these things. You're obviously flustered by these observations. I'll go stand in a corner.
Face blindness is a real thing. It's crazy. And then there's the opposite side of the spectrum, which are super recognizers.
Yeah.
And those are people that freak people out because they're like, oh yeah, you were at the Ralph's back in 2005.
I remember you from when I was 4 years old. We went at camp one time. It's like, oh my God, I have no idea. Who are you?
It turns out they have nothing going on with their lives and they're just obsessed with you.
Well, that's what it seems like for super recognizers.
Yeah. Everybody.
He must have a healing factor because his jaw gets popped when he comes to in that field. And again, like I said, if you're chained up and you're knocked out for 3 days, when do you go to the bathroom? You know, when do you eat?
Knocked out for 3 days.
Oh,
it took
Mark. That's
Mark,
right.
That's right. The way I understand it, I could be wrong, but it took Mark Spector a couple days to get back from wherever he was in Europe to his flat, then go to sleep and wake back up.
That's true, because he is getting dates and then flaking on said dates and
but it's
eating
Mark Spector
meat.
getting the date. How did Mark Spector get the date?
Have you seen Mark Spector?
No.
Yeah, he's gorgeous.
Total. No, I'm not seen, but like his demeanor, he's a total Chad.
He's very suave.
Why would he swap just to get the date? Was he fighting in London?
Well, keep in mind that they, they're there. I don't know. He's researching. Who knows?
You get what I'm saying? How did that girl meet Mark Spector if Mark Spector only comes out to fight?
Well, they work together.
Yeah.
She works with Steven. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Steven
But if
didn't
something
remember.
happened at the museum and Mark happened to pop out,
Maybe we'll get that in the next episode, like you said.
doesn't matter because Mark didn't get the date. He stood her up too.
Right.
So it's
well,
really
he didn't mean to,
point.
but yeah.
He pulled a Spider-Man.
Yeah. Here's a question. What happened to the fish?
Which fish?
Gus, the first fish.
Gus. Oh, Gus. Okay, I was like, Sprinkles is probably dead now too because he ate chocolate, obviously.
Right.
Poor fish.
Miss Miranda says, remember he had to buy him a new fish. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sticking to my original theory from the live beforehand is that this fish was in a tank. The tank got broken. The fish died. They replaced the fish. Steven knows none the wiser. Except he figured it out.
Well, he figured it out. I don't think the tank got broken. He would have had to get in a whole new tank, clean up the glass and the water from the floor, all that. You know what I was thinking? He has to feed the fish every day. He was gone for a couple of days. The fish died.
Killed the fish. Poor fish.
Because he doesn't count on leaving for more than one day.
I'm honestly surprised that Mark Spector didn't like cut off the fin of the other fish so that he wouldn't notice. But then he would just kill the other fish too. So you don't know if it's born without a fin, then it'll probably keep living. But if it just loses a fin, that's normally the end of a goldfish.
Oh, yeah. Superbeard, he's another personality. He just happened to take charge and got the date. I don't know. We don't see any other. I mean, it's possible. Yes, I can see in a you, me, and Irene sort of way, he pops out to get what he wants. But as far as what we see, he's popping out only for these missions and stuff, not to get a date. That's what I'm saying.
It's true.
You know.
Maybe that's where Jake Lockley comes in. All right, that guy, he could pull too.
Are we gonna see him get a third personality in the show? What do you guys?
This is the question. I don't know. Everyone who's read the comics would know that there.
This is Moon Knight. It's not the question.
Is Moon Knight / Khonshu going to be its own personality versus Mark Spector?
Yeah.
Versus.
Sorry, that was a comic book joke. I don't know.
Yes, you're like the comic book dad joke right now.
I'm not getting them because I'm just tired.
There's a
DC comic
question. So I was like, no, it's not the question. It's
Rorschach is based off of them.
Yeah.
Got it.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm on.
Well, because in Daredevil, Iron Fist season 2, is that when she pops up? Typhoid Mary is in Iron Fist season 2, right?
Who watched season 2?
I watched. Season 2 is better than season 1. I'll tell you that.
And Colleen Wing is the shit. So.
It ends with Colleen Wing getting the Iron Fist. That's all we need. We just need Colleen Wing being Iron Fist.
She's one of the Sand Vipers from Game of Thrones.
I love Jessica Henwick. Anyway,
I might watch it for her.
She's Jessica Henwick's great. But Typhoid Mary's in there, and she has other personalities as well. And in the end, well, I don't want to spoil anything. Anyway, point being is, it seems
she's not going to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it.
Clearly, she's not going to watch it.
She gets a third personality. She keeps switching to bad to good.
Oh.
Because her personality has powers, I think. Anyway, she gets a third personality, I think, at the end. She dives deeper. I think that's how it ends.
If we're looking for more examples of DID in the current MCU, all we have to look at is Spider-Man. We had the Green Goblin pop up in Spider-Man No Way Home, and I interpreted that as another case of DID in a sense. That instead of a cool superhero god, you got the Green Goblin, which is too bad because Norman Osborn was a really good character.
Yeah. What do we? So sorry. Did we answer this question? What do we think is going to happen? We got five more episodes. That's cool.
I don't know if I even want to guess. I really enjoy coming along for the ride. I would like to see them do something different than other alternate personality storylines have done so far when we have Memento, Fight Club, all those things. I don't want to see them fall into the same kind of traps. I'd like to see it handled in a respectful manner, but at the same time, we are dealing with magic in a sense. I would like to see more tie-ins to magic because that seems to be the new era, this phase. We're in phase 4 now of the MCU. Yeah. And I would like to see some tie-ins to Bast or the Eternals. That's really my hopes more than what I think will happen.
Or Black Knight, you know.
Oh yeah.
That would, because he's not an Eternal, but he's Eternal adjacent.
Yeah.
I really like
Midnight Suns,
right. I like in the comics how nobody believes Moon Knight has a god in his head. They just think he's some crazy like vigilante. And we're not gonna get that. That's the sad part.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Deadpool's gonna come along one day and he's gonna be like, I see you, man. Like, I see you.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Zazu doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. That's the type of Disney reference that Deadpool's gonna make a shit ton of Disney references. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the avenues they could go in, right? They can go into more of the god route, and the Egyptian gods and the Greek gods and the Norse gods could have a thing, right? Going on in a Marvel story. We can have Moon Knight team up with Black Knight, team up with Blade, Midnight Suns. I brought up Elsa Bloodstone. Midnight Suns notoriously, those like magic team ups tend to be just a bunch of guys. Mm-hmm. Elsa Bloodstone is a good female character to throw in to the Midnight Suns.
Get some Ghost Rider, Night Thrasher.
Is Night Thrasher a Midnight Sun?
No, I just think he's like one of those B-level guys that like
he's not even B-level.
Yeah, he is a D-lister, but
yeah.
He's got a skateboard.
But I want that. I want the supernatural heroes. Let's see a team up there. Like, let's see the MCU really set up these alternate like groups and heroes and stuff. But that's what Phase 4 is, right? They're bringing a lot of new toys into the toy box.
Mm-hmm. We're full on witches though, right? Like we're done. We're not going to see a Clea. We're not going to see
Wait, what?
Like witches wise. I know we have like sorcerers, but
you don't think we're going to see witches?
We will eventually, but it's not in this series, I don't think.
It's probably going to be like a Strange thing, right?
They might tie that in with some Agatha Harkness and her new series that they're going to have to invent, essentially. So save all the witches for Agatha.
Yeah, that's true.
Clea, I do want to see Clea in Doctor Strange, either in Doctor Strange something or another, or in Agatha Harkness's show. Maybe we explore more of the magic part of the universe, maybe some bad magic. Maybe we get some Brother Voodoo.
I would like them to go back to the point that Thor had made early in the first Thor movie, is that magic and science are the same thing. And it was reiterated in the Loki series. And I'd just like us to continue on that path, is that magic and science are the same thing. We just don't understand it yet. Or a broader perspective to remind humans that we have been around for many millennia, and everything that we thought was real once upon a time was our brains incapable of understanding what we were really looking at. And that includes all religions. I mean, I can go there. Let's just have Marvel completely demolish religion. That would be great. That's my
what
hope.
the MCU's gonna do.
That's their job.
Did it with the Jewish erasure. Okay, sorry.
We have not seen yet whether we've not.
But
seen
Jewish
yet.
religion or Jewish culture, different things.
But, yes, but this character specifically, he's Jewish.
The son of a rabbi, and we will have to wait and see on whether they capitalize on.
I think we'll see more because they did bring in F. Murray Abram, who is a Syrian. I believe he is Jewish, but I could be wrong about that. And he's playing the voice of Khonshu. So I think they're really taking. I mean, they brought in the talent Oscar Isaac, but then outside of that, I know that the director of Moon Knight was criticizing other directors from not taking the opportunity to bring in positive representation, specifically to Egypt. So I'd like to see more of that.
Right.
F. Murray Abraham is
Death on the
paternally
Nile.
from Greek Orthodox Church. Maternally, I have no confirmation of anything, but he is from he is Syrian.
He's
related.
Syrian American, but
yeah. Interesting. Well, I think what's cool is, okay, so you know how like Benedict Cumberbatch voices Dormammu in Doctor Strange, and it's I think it's an interesting commentary of like the gods are in our head kind of thing. So the fact that Khonshu isn't voiced by Oscar Isaac
means that he is separate from the character Mark Isaac, or all the names are phasing together. Mark Isaac,
like phasing together like the moon.
Not skipping a beat. Oh, I got my polite laugh here.
What I was gonna say is it would be interesting to see if the actor who voices Khonshu plays the father of Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, whatever. Like, so then it's the god is the father. If you if you go with that symbolism, who knows? It's way too early to tell, but we have our theories on how we can make this show better. So, Marvel, get a time machine. Go back in time and ask us.
Just keep
them. They don't have to. They already know what's going to happen.
They already know. They already know. Anyone have any final thoughts? Maybe out there in the comments, or Paul or Vaga, because I don't want to step on your
favorite moment. Was there a favorite moment for anyone in this episode? Person, I can jump it off while you think about it. I really loved the Avatar line. I thought that was really cute. How they brought in, it's like, oh yeah, the blue people. Oh yeah, I love that movie. Oh, are you talking about the anime?
Yeah, that is funny. Because Disney doesn't own the last Airbender Avatar, but they do own Avatar.
They do now. You're right. Yeah.
Which is weird because Disney's been doing this thing, like in Eternals, they brought up Superman and Batman. They don't own them. And it's so weird that like now Disney's gotten so powerful, they're like, so sue us. We brought up your name. Whatever.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. You can mention stuff for a certain point without the copyright because it's been in the public eye for so many years, for decades at this point, that you can say that. You just can't.
But
they have very particular laws
for the competition.
Well, wasn't it kind of a nod to Kirby doing New Gods and finishing it with Eternals, or was it the other way around?
Kirby did New Gods, then
Eternals, right?
Eternals. Kirby went over to DC and he went back. Yeah. Eternals, I believe.
So I feel like that's what kind of bridges. Well, I mean, again, that's probably for us, right? Not for the kids.
Yeah. So were those your closing thoughts about that?
That was my favorite moment. Those are my closing remarks. I'm really looking forward to whatever is going to happen with this series. I don't really want to guess and speculate too much because I enjoy the surprise. I hope they dive a bit more into the mind and specifically the question of identity. Who are we? What makes us a person? And I would like to see other people kind of internalize that and try to reflect on what makes you you and how do you see the world because of who you are.
Paul,
let's keep killing cultists. I wonder if there's gonna be,
we don't know how bad these cultists are.
No, but the show as a precedent is just like, fuck them. Literally they're just disposable. They're hollowed out and they're
the logs that go down and they just whack. Whack. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
They do seem disposable. We're not supposed to care so much about them, but
because normally it's masklet, like completely masked or completely costumed, but these are like, or body snatchers, like we saw in Peacemaker.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm wondering if there's going to be a second big bad, because don't they tend to do that? Because this is like a lot,
I don't know whether Ethan Hawke's the big bad. Like,
I don't think Amit's even part of the Ennead, is she? She was.
Amit is not, I believe.
No, she was. She was kind of like the guard dog, essentially, to the underworld. She was maybe the partner of Osiris. I'm trying to remember, but the scales and all of that was taken. You actually see an image of her. She's like a dog body with a crocodile head at some point, and then she was essentially like a hellhound, a gateway guard to the underworld, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I also want.
Oh yeah, Amit or Okay, I see that. The crocodile head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was going to be Stovek.
Lion,
yeah.
Hindquarters of a hippopotamus, head of a crocodile.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Stovek when I saw the crocodile symbology, because he is another sort of major deity especially in the newer kingdom of ancient Egypt. And he ended up being Ra, essentially. His cult grew to such a power that they absorbed all the followers of Ra. And then with that came all the powers. So all of a sudden, this guy who used to just be in charge of fertility because of the river, he was a river god and whatever. Now all of a sudden he was like the god of creation, the god of the sun. He was in charge of everything, because as the cult grows, so do all the cool powers of your god.
He got a promotion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But it's not
Ponzi
so
scheme.
a myth. So I guess we'll find out more later on. I like that it's female though. Yay.
Yeah.
And Val, is she going to end up recruiting someone?
Val who?
Contessa?
Oh yeah.
So like
she's popping up.
She hasn't popped up in everything though.
Are we going to see John Walker? Is he all of a sudden going to be making some sort of Daredevil? Nah, I think it's too soon for John Walker again, but you never know. They like.
I mean, we got Yelena and her nice little bow. I feel like she's done, right?
I mean,
I don't know why she would keep fighting for the Thunderbolts. Well,
right.
Thunderbolt, not official.
But that being said, well, she was getting paid by Thunderbolts.
There's no way they don't bring back Yelena. They know that the world loves Florence Pugh.
Oh my God. Her cactus stories on Instagram or not, whatever.
They will milk that as long as they can.
She's adorable in real life. She's not just,
I think any cameo we'll get will be in the final episode in the final scene of the final episode. That's it. Because it's not going a season 2, as far as I know. This is a limited series, they've said, right? It's a limited series event or something like that. But something that I did notice is they blank out his cuss words. He goes, "Oh shit," and then it like kind of whatever. And then when he's getting chased by the dog, he's like, "Fuck!" Like he doesn't say it. It cuts away to the running.
Fucking Disney, man.
Which makes me wonder. I have a theory just by this and by the level of maturity that this might have been even more mature, and they cut it back to this level.
Yeah, that sounds like something producers would do.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Thanks for watching, Matt. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff. So maybe we might get more. Maybe it gets more mature as it goes along, even. So who knows? Maybe they're like, yeah, the first.
Gonna build up. Timing is curious too, because the show is airing right before Multiverse of Madness came out. No Way Home had just aired. So we know that the multiverse is going to be breaking open at some point. Are we going to see that in the final episodes, or are we going to see shit like a giant colossal celestial popping out of the earth from his perspective? Is Mark Spector going to be in London when that shit went down? I guess these are the questions.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want the multiverse and everything Marvel related. It's
gonna happen though.
No.
I mean, timeline wise.
Multiverse wasn't in Hawkeye.
No, because that happened at Christmas.
Right. When did Loki happen?
Outside of time, it doesn't matter.
and Dimitri, a Broadway musical is a kind of multiverse.
Yeah.
They are variants, if you will.
No, okay, all right.
And there's an Ant-Man on that cast, which was not the original Avengers, which makes that an alternate.
All right, why don't you make a TikTok on it and call it fat?
How did Khonshu get here? I want to know how Khonshu got to this realm, because in the comics they're from a different realm entirely, and they transported to Egypt via pyramid, and that's how they were in this dimension. And then early humans praised them as gods. Were they there before the Eternals or after the Eternals? That's another question. Are we going to get the Elder Gods at some point, which predated all of them? More questions.
You have way too many questions, Vaga. You're
Mesopotamia was 5,000 BC. Ancient Egypt was 3,000 BC. That's 2,000 years difference.
Yeah.
But Makari was looking for somebody beforehand. So this is
That's fair. She was not in enough of the movie. She was just
Vaga,
ghosted.
can you do me a favor? Can you do the Charlie Day picture where with the thing? Is
That's how this all started, Dimitri. Don't you remember the Vagabond?
I remember.
No.
Picture though. Do a reenactment picture of that meme. Yeah. Superbeard does mention that Spider-Man No Way Home does take place before Christmas.
Did it?
Yeah, because it ends at Christmas time.
It ends with the giant tree. Yeah, I guess it happened right at the same time.
Superbeard also says the captions do say the curses, so we'll have to. Actually, I don't remember the captions saying I have the captions on. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to check it again.
Well,
but
talk to one of your other personalities.
Yeah.
Maybe you have like a
Your
cleaned
alter.
up. Yeah, your alter.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody out there, if you're watching us live stream on volume.com/The Keeg Show, twitch.tv/The Keeg Show, or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. It's Keeg Shows all around. I went in, I changed the URLs to like everything now.
Woo!
You know? So Keeg Show on everything social media related. Our podcast, you can still look up The Keeg on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're on 5 different podcast platforms, so check us out. Let us know wherever you're watching us. I really want to know where you guys are watching or listening to the podcast. Write a review if you can. Give us full points. But before we get going, Vaga, our episode 1 guest, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, always a pleasure. Where can we find you on social media? What do you got coming up? Any plugs you want to do?
Marvel Talk is about to have another big blow up session. So I think that's where you're going to find me, is on TikTok predominantly. I just started putting out a new cosplay because I made this awesome Sailor Moon Knight crossover cosplay in honor of the episode. So I'm going to be posting a few more photos on Instagram. That's Vagabondage Babe on TikTok, Vagabondage Official. I don't have the same name everywhere. I apologize. Nothing big really coming up in the near future, but I'm sure I will be diving more and more into this series as it progresses. Thanks.
Awesome. Vaga, you're always a pleasure to have, so thank you. Paul?
Thanks for keeping us on track, by the way, too.
I try. You guys are
I know.
kittens on caffeine. I don't know.
Well, that's ADHD, both of us. So.
We're all otters, okay? We're on the river floating around, but we get to hold hands so we can stick together, you know?
Otter videos.
It's just 3 of us. It's 3 of us as otters. Anyone with artistic ability, draw Paul, myself, and Vaga as otters holding hands.
Is that why you're doing the teeth earlier?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
I was doing I forget, because I was listening to her and I was going through things in my own mind and I'm like, I don't know.
That's your thinking face?
That was not my thinking face. That was my thinking while I'm on.
You went almost like full Squirrel Girl. Like it was.
Squirrel Girl. That would be a fun bring in.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. Paul, where can we find you?
Look, the only thing right now, got to promote this WonderCon thing. And that's April 1st through Sunday. April 3rd.
Through Sunday, everybody.
Yep. I'm just like Stephen Grant.
I wish I could go.
I wish you could too.
I'm gonna smell so bad. We're gonna be really exhausted because we got tons
Don't tell
of
that. You're gonna smell awesome. In fact, they have to come and smell you now. That's the only reason to go.
All right. Well, time to go with the OnlyFans and get those jars filled with
of money.
Yeah. Make a lot of money that way, I hear.
Yeah. It's very lucrative.
Yeah. But people can also follow you at Mr. PLAO, Mr. Plow, on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. And then they can also follow Paul at Paul Loud Jokes on Twitter, right?
It's just Rita Repulsa climbs out of that trash can more often than I post on TikTok or anything.
That's fair.
Sorry.
But you are my Marvel co-host, so thank you, Paul.
Bingo bango. Thanks for having.
Appreciate it.
For everyone out there, again, we follow us on social media. We got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got Twitter. You can find us at The Keeg Show on a lot of that stuff. Also, patreon.com/The Keeg Show. If you want to find a way to donate to the show, there's different subscription tiers the lowest tier for something as small as $5 a month, you can definitely, help out the show. Patreon.com/The Geek Show. Check it out and see if there's something that, strikes your fancy.
And tell us more. Where are you for this WonderCon, Dimitri? And
Anaheim WonderCon?
Yeah.
Anaheim, Southern California. We will be on foot making content at Anaheim WonderCon at Anaheim Convention Center in sunny Southern California. And then we also have our first ever Keeg Live, which is our rebranding, but basically where it's our new concept of live Keeg shows. So we're going to be doing a live, technically 2 live Keeg shows on Friday night, Friday, April 1st at Bruheim in Anaheim. So if anyone's listening to this and is in the area, definitely check us out. We're going to have music and drinks and food and prizes and drinks. Did I mention drinks? And a show, So doing all sorts of things. Making moves, baby. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. Once again, I'm your host, Dimitri Pereira, and this has been episode 1 of the Moon Knight After Show. Take care.